So, the Matchroom versus Queensberry 5v5 press conference and undercard reveal. Obviously, you've got Beterbiev, Bivol top of the bill, but it was the undercard which had been leaked for weeks anyway, and it turned out to be exactly the same as the leaks were saying it would be, but they went through the formality of officially announcing the undercard fighters. I'll come on to that in a second, but I want to review the whole thing because, as I say, they tried to make a real show of it. Now, as soon as I switched on the stream, I saw Darren Barker holding a microphone, which instantly deflated me. Darren Barker is competing with Tony Bellew right now for the crown of most god-awful presenter in boxing. Honestly, Darren Barker is just, oh God. I can't do it. And so I switched over to the Queensberry stream, and they had Carl Frampton, who's cool, but then they've got their fake Ade, not the real Ade on DAZN, the fake version, the knockoff Pound Shop version on Queensberry and TNT. And I'm not sure who's worse, him or Darren Barker. In fact, put him in the running for worst boxing presenter as well, alongside Barker and Tony Bellew. So I had to switch back to the DAZN stream and try my best to just block Darren Barker out. You just use the mute button every time Barker was talking, which was quite a lot, unfortunately, and instead listen to Ade and Barry Jones. And as much as they're two good presenters, there was way too much waffle, way too much waiting around for the press conference to actually start. When it eventually did, they had Beterbiev and Bivol up there, but a long preamble. I mean, they always have the preamble from the promoters and whatever, but there was a long preamble by Dev Sani, very long, like longer than normal. Then they had Eddie Hearn talk and Todd Dubois talk. I'm not sure why Frank Warren was talking because he's not promoting either of the guys. They eventually got to the fighters and the fighters didn't really say much, especially Artur Beterbiev. It's almost like he was doing an Anthony Joshua up there when Dev Sani was asking him questions. It was one-word answers. Now, Beterbiev kept alluding to something, which he didn't elaborate on, but he said Bivol knows what he's talking about. And he kept repeating that, even in one of the post-press conference interviews. He said it again, he knows. Is he referring to a sparring session they might have had back in the days? Because there's quite a big age gap between them, might be 7 years or something? Because they were on the same national team, obviously, they're from the same country. But with the age gap, wouldn't have thought they would have sparred, but you never know. Or maybe Beterbiev saw Bivol get dropped or handled in sparring or something like that. Who knows? But that's what Beterbiev seemed to be alluding to. Again, especially if you watch some of the interviews he did after he came off the stage. Anyway, great fight. We're all looking forward to that. Undisputed light heavyweight championship. There seemed to be quite a bit of needle there as well. I don't know whether those comments from Beterbiev kind of riled Bivol a little bit because the face-off went on for a very long time. In fact, that was the spiciest face-off of the whole press conference between those two. So anyway, after that, there was a load more waffle. We had to suffer Darren Barker again. Eventually, we got into the undercard fighters, and they all came on with masks, and they really milked the whole reveal thing just to a ridiculous extent, particularly ridiculous, given the fact that, as I said earlier on, the lineup was leaked weeks ago, and it turned out to be the exact same lineup. The way they were acting shocked as soon as one of the fighters took their mask off. Oh, wow. It's like, these are all the names we were already told. Stop it. All we were getting here really is confirmation. And the only name that was ever in doubt, at least in my mind, was Deontay Wilder, because him being part of this event means signing with Matchroom, which he's done. And that's a real turn up for the books. I'll do a separate video about that, given the history between Eddie Hearn and Deontay Wilder. The PBC cult members must be having a meltdown at this point, with Jerome Ennis and Deontay Wilder both signing with Eddie Hearn within a week. But yeah, they all had these masks on and they were longing it out and going through the rivalry between Queensberry and Matchroom over the decades with Barry Hearn, Eddie's dad, and blah, blah, blah. It was all very boring. It would have been a lot more interesting when Eddie and Frank were still genuinely at each other's throats, because there would have been more needle involved, and so that would have made it entertaining. But since they're acting like best buddies these days, there was no entertainment to be had. So it was really just all about the fighters. That's all I was interested in. So they eventually took all their masks off. We got the lineup. Philip Hrgovic alluded to this sparring session that he had with Daniel Dubois a few years ago, where he stopped him. I made a video about it at the time. That's what was claimed anyway, that Hrgovic stopped Dubois in that session. You got Willie Hutchinson taking on Craig Richards. Willie Hutchinson came across as a bit weird to me, bit jittery. Hamza Shiraz versus Emma Williams. That's a great fight. Emma Williams came on with the glasses looking like Venom. The Marvel character. Nick Bull versus Ray Ford is a great fight. Wilder, Zhang, Dubois, Hrgovic, and all the others. So yeah, a great show. Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren have been running around saying this is the greatest card of all time. Behave. It's a very good card, but greatest of all time? Eddie Hearn's old enough to remember better cards than that, and Frank Warren definitely is. Eddie Hearn's from my generation. He remembers those Don King cards from back in the days. A lot of the Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. cards were out of this world fantastic. Tyson Holyfield 1, that was a fantastic card. Lewis Holyfield 1 and 2 were good cards as well. Maybe I'll do a separate video about that. But still, it's a great card, this one, and I'm very, very much looking forward to it. Now, let's talk about the trailer. In fact, before we get to the trailer, I've got no idea why they didn't just let Dev Sani present the whole press conference. Why they got this other guy up there. I don't know his name, but I've seen him do a few bits and pieces in boxing over the past couple years. He looked like he was having a panic attack up there, constantly wiping his sweaty palms. Somebody in my Element group was saying that he looks like he works in JD Sports. Literally, the guy looks like a generic JD Sports employee. At least in London, every single JD Sports in London has got a guy that looks like that who works in there. With the same complete lack of personality as well. Why on earth they got that guy up there, I have no idea. Whoever directs these things behind the scenes and picks which presenters they're gonna put on the press conference, that person needs to be fired. Seriously. Dev Sani's like an annoying little weaselly guy, but he has a confidence about him. He's competent. Just let Dev Sani do the whole thing. No idea where they're trying to bring that guy in. It was weird because Dev Sani was holding the mic and doing most of the talking. But then they had that guy in the middle, nervously asking questions of the promoters and the fighters. What on earth was that all about? Maybe they realized he was having a panic attack and that's why Dev Sani did most of the talking. I don't know. But I don't want to see that guy on my screen ever again for any boxing event. He's got to go. Barker's got to go. The Pound Shop version of Ade on TNT, he's got to go. Anyway, let's get to the trailer. Now, this trailer I think is like Marmite. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. For my money, there is no way on earth that this trailer is anywhere near as good as the previous trailers they've done. The Usyk Fury trailer, way better than this one. The Joshua Ngannou trailer, way better than this one. Even the Day of Reckoning. No, was it the Day of Reckoning? What was the one with, what was the show called with AJ and Wallen with all the zombies? That was way better than this one too. Now, I should probably get paid commission for this trailer because I was the first person on YouTube to start calling Frank Warren Bricktop. And someone clearly liked the idea of Frank Warren being Bricktop for this promo because that's essentially what he played. Bricktop. It was like a Guy Ritchie movie or a trailer for a Guy Ritchie movie. You know, like in Snatch or Lock, Stock, where they're describing the character before you meet them, you know, when they're introducing a character. Yeah, it was Guy Ritchie, Lock, Stock style, Snatch style. And it was a good idea, I want to say, but the execution for me didn't work. It came across as very cheesy. Frank Warren did okay. Eddie Hearn, not so good. It would have been better if they just got Jason Statham in. I want to say they couldn't afford Jason Statham. They could afford him because the Saudis are funding the whole thing. They should have got Jason Statham in there rather than that weird JD Sports employee looking guy. Get Jason Statham to present the show. That would have been crazy. And get him to do the voiceover for the trailer. Then it would have been official. Then it would have worked better. But as it was, for me, the trailer was meh. Good concept, but execution didn't quite work for me. Came across as cheesy and Whereas the other trailers I thought were absolutely top notch. In fact, have they done a trailer for Beterbiev Bivol? Is that out yet? Because that's something I want to see. The poster for Beterbiev Bivol looked tremendous. That was impressive. And if the poster's like that, I want to see the trailer. That's going to be epic. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the Matchroom versus Queensberry press conference. Give me your thoughts on it in the comment section below. And before I go, I want to give a shout out to all the new subscribers to my Patreon page. I cover loads of different topics in my weekly podcast, as you can see on screen right now, from current events to deep dives down the rabbit hole and everything in between. I'm really enjoying the feedback and the discussions we've been having on there lately. So if you'd like to join the conversation, just click the link in the description box below. Are you sick and tired of the mainstream mindset? Does the dogmatic conformity and pathological ignorance have you tearing your hair out in frustration? Then don't be alone. Come and join our brotherhood on Patreon. We stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. You'll gain access to my weekly topical podcast where we take more deep dives than Jacques Cousteau on an endless variety of subjects. There's also videos, interviews, live Q&As, as well as a vast back catalogue of previous episodes, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen via the Patreon app or download in high-quality MP3. Connect with myself and hundreds of other members in our Element chat group. There's no contract, no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a Mickey D's McMuffin. Just head to my Patreon page via the link below this video and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. I'll see you over there.